Hey, loves, and welcome to the Dialogue and Love podcast with your hostess, Goddess Love. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the last episode for this year. So, I know y'all don't want to hear me droning on during the holiday seasons for those that celebrate. And for those of us who don't celebrate, this is just a nice time to take a break and chill from any chaos or anything. And if we want to hang out with the family that we love, take that time to connect with them, fellowship and love, and have food or whatever it is that you do. So, closing out this week, I want to talk about the benefits of forgiveness. So, we see and we hear so many things on social media about, I ain't forgiving nobody, and I forgive, but I ain't gonna forget, and all of that is fine. I am a firm believer that you can forgive somebody, but you don't necessarily have to associate with them, because the forgiveness is more so for your benefit. Okay. Now, as always, I went to Google and I looked up what are the benefits of what is the benefits of forgiveness, and contentmentquesting.com is where I went. And they talked about the benefits of forgiveness, why we should forgive, and, what would be good things for us in our lives to forgive others. Now, the definition of forgive is to cease to feel resentment against someone. Okay? You want to stop feeling resentful towards someone who you feel has done something to. The benefit of forgiving someone is completely letting go of that resentment. Resentment can make you feel stressed, raise your blood pressure, have anxiety. It can do all kinds of things to you physically. And then it can harden your heart. That's just an opinion. Okay? So they've broken down the 7 benefits of forgiveness, and the first one is it heals a wound in your heart. Okay? When you have a wound, a physical wound, if it's not treated and left to just fester, it can become infected, and it's going to continue to cause you pain and suffering for the long term. But when you get that scar treated or that wound treated, it starts to heal. It might leave a little scar, but it's no longer in pain. And you can go on with your life without ever worrying about it. You might look at that scar every now and then and remember the pain that you had, but it's not going to be as deep as if you hadn't got that treated. Okay? So healing that wound in your heart from someone's transgressions against you is a good thing and beneficial for you in forgiving someone else. It's not for them, it's for your own healing. Okay, and the second one is it brings you peace. Now, one thing that I know about having a lot of chaos in your mind by holding a grudge against someone or being upset with someone because of what they've done to you, you're going to constantly be going over that in your mind. It's going to keep eating at you and eating at you and eating at you. Okay? When you decide in your mind and in your heart to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and release that and let it go. I forgive them. And you don't even have to say it to them. But if in your mind and in your heart you know that you forgive them, that brings you peace. Okay? The third one is it helps your other relationships. Now, you might have a mutual family member and all of you are connected in some way. Okay? You might be cousins. It might be a sister and a brother who has a problem with a parent. It could be any of those. And if you're constantly holding a grudge, and having this bitterness in your heart, that can spill over into other family members. It can cause them to be poisoned against other family members. So it's best to in your mind and in your heart, and even tell those family members, you know what, I forgive them and I'm moving on with life. I don't know what they're doing, but I forgive them and I'm moving on. And it kind of helps to heal family relationships with others as well. Because somebody might be holding a grudge against somebody else, and they see that you are, bossing your life up, if you will. Because I really feel like you are bossing your life up when you forgive somebody. And they might decide, you know what, I want to move on and I want to release myself from this bondage of holding a grudge as well. Okay. The fourth one is it stops victimhood mentality. Okay. When someone has done something to you, it is so easy to feel like, they really destroy a part of your life. Okay. Having that mindset, and it's I'm not taking away from anyone's pain. That is a lot of pain to have to deal with on a daily basis. But if continuously staying in that woe is me, innocent victim mentality, you feel like you can't do nothing about it. Now, there are certain things that you can't do to fix it, but one thing you can do to bring peace to yourself and release yourself from somewhat of a prison in your mind is to let go of that so you don't feel like a victim. Okay? Work through it with yourself. Go to therapy. Do whatever it is that you need to do. Put yourself back in charge of your life instead of allowing that incident or, whatever this person did to you to keep that stronghold over you. Okay, number 5, improves your mental health. I mean, that's going without saying. When we operate in love and we operate in peace and we relieve ourselves from chaos, that brings about mental clarity and improves your mental health because you're not always stressed. You're not always anxious. You're not always worrying about that next thing that was going on. Okay? So I talked about stress. That's another benefit. That's the 6th benefit of forgiveness is reducing your stress. You can raise your blood pressure worrying and stressing yourself out about a situation that you have no control over. Once again, continuously being in that victim mentality, continuously dwelling on what someone else did to you, it will have you stressed beyond measure, which also raises the blood pressure, causes headaches, can make you physically ill and sick to your stomach. You might not want to eat. It can push you into depression. So you want to pull yourself out of that for your overall mental and physical health. Okay? And finally, the 7th benefit is it sets a good example for others. Now, sometimes we don't realize that small children are paying attention to everything that we do and say. They may see what your reaction is to certain behaviors towards you, and they may mimic that behavior. Okay? Other people can be hurt by you because whatever stresses or mental stress that you have, you could take it out on others around you, mainly your children. They may be doing things and you ain't in the mood to hear all that, and you start yelling at them for something that has nothing to do with them. So for the overall benefit of yourself, your family's well-being, mentally and physically, you want to let go, forgive people, move on with your life, even if that means never speaking to that person again. Because what a lot of people don't understand is you can live your life without people in it and still be happy and functioning. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean we going back to the way things used to be. Because sometimes things, you can't go back. Sometimes you can't go back to the way things used to be. Now, if you'd like to start over and it's mutual between you and that party that you are forgiving, that's always a beautiful thing. But if that person is too toxic to your mental and your well-being and you forgive them, but you can't deal with them you can't physically be around them, you can't talk to them, that's okay too. Don't let anybody make you feel like, oh, that's your mother, oh, that's your daughter, oh, that's your son, oh, that's your brother, that's your granddad, that's your auntie, that's your family. Well, you've been best friends since you were kids and all of that. Don't let nobody guilt you into being friends or being associated with someone that is not good for your mental health. Forgiveness is always for you and not the other person. You don't have to accommodate anybody for these holidays and for any other reason. You have to do what you feel is best for you. Also, I always like to tell people, assess things from more than one side. You can definitely look at it from your own point of view, but kind of put yourself on the outside, or kind of put yourself in the shoes of the other person associated with it. As always, take accountability for your actions. If there are apologies that you need to extend to anyone, give it to them, but also understand that they don't have to accept it just like you don't. Either way, if you victimized each other, you forgive and you move on. If you can rebuild from there, once again, that's a beautiful thing. But if you can't, you continue to live your life. You can't allow anyone to guilt you into anything, and don't guilt yourself, no matter who it is. And just say what you feel. Be truthful. Be honest about your feelings, because that's more important than anything to your mental health. You don't have to put on any shows for anybody and pretend like everything is okay when it's really not. If you don't have the mental capacity to sit around certain people in these family settings when it comes to the holidays, if it's too overwhelming for you, explain that to the family. Either they understand or they don't. But you have to take care of you. You have to set your boundaries, and you have to make sure that you're okay before anyone else. So once again, I appreciate you all for tuning in to the last episode for this year. I will be returning in the first week of January with a new episode. Maybe a few changes, because, as I did this over the last 10 weeks, I found that there's some things that I can do a little bit better as far as the title and all of that type of stuff. But this is a learning experience for me. This is new for me. I appreciate everybody that has been on this journey with me every step of the way. I truly love y'all and appreciate y'all for your support. I'm sending you all peace, love, light, positive energy, and healing vibes. And I'll see you soon, macarons. Bye.